Okay, welcome. Welcome to our Jewels from our Jewels, I called it. And this is our 5th week. And this week we have a very special person named Sammi Creach. And we met in Hawaii. Little did I know she was an upline to my support partner for Turning Emerald. Her girl Lynn and I met at Leaders Retreat last year and in line and kept in touch all through Facebook. And about the month or two before July, we started talking about how close we were, and we didn't know if we were going to make it. And so we just started really cheering each other on almost daily, like, you can do this, you can do this. And then we'd have really bad days and we're like, we're not going to do it. And then you can do it. And we did it the whole way up to until we turned on the day we turned. And we turned about an hour between each other. So it was really cool. And then to find out Sammi was her upline, it was really, really fun because we met a lot in the pool. We like the pool.
Yes.
So I'm going to let her just tell her whole story to us and encourage all of us on our journey. So here you go, Miss Sammi.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. This group is a great idea. So as you can see, I'm in my car. I'm out doing some shopping, hopefully done with everything today. The beauty of Plexus is I can do this anywhere. So I literally was like, sure, I could absolutely take a break from shopping and talk to the group. Sounds like fun. So like she said, my name is Sammi Creach. I'm an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. And I actually started as a customer. I had nothing, no interest, didn't want to even hear about the business side of Plexus. Used the products, loved them. I don't have a huge testimonial health-wise, but it did take away my daily headaches. My IBS was gone. I started it to lose weight because I'd gained 80 pounds with my second child. So I fell in love with the products. Well, within 30 seconds of talking to the physical therapy department that I worked with, they ran to the ambassador that was there at work, and I sold her out of all 10 of her 3-day trials. Literally, for 30 seconds, just telling them what it did for me. And I thought, are you kidding me? Seriously? That's all this takes? Like, oh my gosh, I tell people about stuff I love all the time. So I thought, okay, I'll take a look. I love the comp plan, so I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot. The reason that I was in the pool so much, just as a little update, because I was 33 weeks pregnant when I was in Maui. I was not going to miss that trip. So yes, I was in the pool a lot. So actually Monday, she's 2 months old, which is crazy. But I took the products all through my pregnancy, afterwards while I was breastfeeding. I only gained 40 pounds this time, which was way better than the 80 with my son. And then I felt better. Honestly, I can say to this day, I have yet to take a nap during the day with a 14-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 2-month-old. I have yet to take a nap during the day. I haven't had to, which has been huge for me. So I really love that part of the update. How I got to Emerald was a little weird, and I have kind of a weird story. So I started the business. Now, when I started the business, I wasn't really looking for the top goal. I was just like, if I could make a little bit of money, because I hated my job. I am an RN. I was the director of clinical education, hated it, absolutely despised going into work. So I thought, if I could just make enough to where I could go work PRN somewhere or part-time somewhere, that would be awesome. So I thought maybe that I would try to do that. My husband worked nights. My baby that was 8 months old at the time did not sleep through the night, so I was up every 2 to 3 hours. My oldest was in baseball, so that's, 2 practices a week at least, and then games on the weekends. And like I said, and I worked full time. So I was literally up nonstop. And I thought, how am I going to work this in? So, it just fit into the nooks and the crannies, really. On lunch break, I would return messages. When the kids went to bed, I would return messages or contact somebody new. The middle of the night feedings aren't as bad as they can be productive sometimes if you're up, kind of like I messaged on that thread earlier too this morning.
Yep.
But, I just kind of fit it into the nooks and crannies, sitting at baseball practice, just 15, 30 minutes if I could. But the only thing I made sure to do was do it every single day. So I was very consistent about it. My job was eliminated 4 months into my Plexus business. So at that point, I had to start looking for another job. And I was sick about it, just sick. And I thought, I don't want to go somewhere and squander my time for what they think it's worth. It wasn't going to happen. So I made a commitment that it was not acceptable to have to get another job. So I worked my business a little more. I had the luxury of having my little one had to finish out they do a month at daycare. So if you're going to take them out of daycare, you have to give them a month's notice. So we went ahead and did that because I'm like, well, I'm at home for now. We can always go back. So I just worked my business, and I just made basically a daily plan. I'm OCD, so I really like lists. Mm-hmm. So I found that it really helps to have lists. The one thing that you want to do the least, put at the top of your list and do it first. It's called Eat That Frog. So I tell my people, eat that frog. Mm-hmm. Because you'll find all kinds of other things to do to avoid doing that one thing. And a lot of the time I've noticed in this business, it's usually reaching out to new people, putting yourself out there, trying to, make those new contacts. And that's always tends to be the scariest part and what people like to put off, although that's what builds our business. So put whatever it is that you're most dreading for that day at the top of the list to get it done. And then guess what? The rest of your day is a total breeze. You have that out of the way, and you take that stress off of yourself. So really having a daily list. What is it? We call it, I don't know, you might call it something different, but we call it the DMO, your daily mode of operations. Okay. So have something that you do every single day that's purposeful and with intent. Just straightening your office and alphabetizing your files on your ambassadors, or cleaning out your documents in your computer. It's great, and it's maintenance, and you really have to do that housekeeping sometimes, but it's not income producing. It's being busy. It's not being productive. So just make sure if you don't have a DMO, I would say go to your closest upline, that's really working the business, or your Jewel upline, and hey, what is it that you do every day? I have 3 things that I do every day. And sometimes they only take me 15 minutes. My day could be really busy, but I'm always fitting a little bit of work in, because I have my list, and my list of 3 things, which is always reaching out to new people. Now, this does not mean talking to them about Plexus. It just means, hey, sending a friend request and they've accepted it. So just reconnecting with that person, rebuilding that relationship. I don't always go in, if you go in with Plexus from the lead, then they're like, oh, now I know why you wanted to get a hold of me. And it's just not genuine. Even if you really do care and want to know what's been going on with that person, if you lead with Plexus, it usually doesn't go anywhere. But if you build those relationships again, then it will. So contacting new people does not always mean that you're talking about Plexus at that first talk. The next thing I do is I always try to follow up with someone I talk to. I try to keep my follow-ups with my people that are really interested within 48 to 72 hours. Granted, with the holidays, I get people are super busy, and I might say, hey, I'll check back with you 2 days after Christmas, and I just write it in my planner. So the 27th, I know when I'm gonna, be helping. So I definitely do follow-ups every day as well. The next thing I do is I try to do some learning, whether it's one chapter in a book that I'm reading. Right now it's Millionaire by Halftime by Presley Swaggerty. Love that book. Have you read it, Cindy?
Yes.
So amazing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I love how it's got homework at the end of each chapter, and it really, it's very interactive. Mm-hmm. So definitely do some personal growth even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a 3-minute video, it's still, you're going to get something out of that. So I do something every day for that. If you don't do personal growth, then you will not grow in the business. And I'm the perfect example of that. And I'll tell you why. I got lucky. 7 months into my business, I turned senior Ruby. I went senior Ruby really fast. And I will admit, I totally got lucky. I had the passion, I had the drive. I didn't really know what I was doing yet at that point. But I got some really great key people underneath me who knew what they were doing. So they kind of took off. Well, from that point, it took me I was 7 months. I was 2 years when I hit Emerald. But I hit Emerald twice. And here's where the weird part of my story comes in. At May 22nd of 2013 is when I joined. I actually hit Emerald the first time in June of 2014. Now, the comp plan was different back then. When they ended the month, now when they end the month, whatever you end with on that last day of the month is what you end with as far as your pay points, right? So if you end with 120 points, that's it. You got 120 points. We all know that's the total. Well, what happened back then was they had 10 days after the end of the month to change it. So if people return their auto quals, you would lose those points. Compression, that kind of stuff. So there was 10 days for things to change. So you never knew kind of where you were going to end until those 10 days after, really. So in June of 2014, I ended with 1,518 points. So I was like, yay! I'm the first jewel in Kansas City. Like I got announced. It was a big deal. We were all like, woohoo, this is great. Well, then the reports came out, and guess what? I ended technically with 1,496 points. 4 points. 4 points. So, everybody's, oh, it's okay. It's all right. Because I was like, oh, we got the time off. We're going to Maui. It's going to be awesome. Next month, July, well, that's when attrition hit. And so instead of going back up and hitting that 1,500, I dropped down to 1,460. So yeah, totally missed it. And I continued to drop down because I was not doing my daily activity. And I ended up losing a total of almost 500 points.
Wow.
And yeah, so that was where I thought, oh my goodness, I got super lucky to get where I was. But now it's my turn. I need to learn what I'm doing. There's some skill involved, and I have not learned those skills yet. So I really, really jumped in, and, any question I had, I would go to YouTube, and if I was getting an objection a lot, then I would go to YouTube and just type in whatever. Oh, are you okay? Sorry, I had a call just come in. That was weird. I've never had that happen before. Anyways, so I did a lot of growth at that point. I learned the skills. GoPro is awesome. It just starts out with 7 skills to really get you started. And then I moved into Tom Big Al Schreider. And if you're not familiar with Big Al, get familiar with Big Al. He changed my business. He and I are actually friends. We got to meet at a mastermind. He's come and done some free trainings for my team, but he is amazing. I struggled with talking to people just out and about in public. How do you introduce Plexus in a socially acceptable way? There's, he teaches basically 25 different skills. So I made that part of my time management, was learning these 25 skills from Big Al. Now, I haven't gotten through all 25 because I want to do one, practice it, get good at it, move to the next one. And it does take practice, so it's going to take me a while. But that's definitely something I added in. Now, fast forward, so for a year and rebuilding, then June of 2015, I hit Emerald again. And actually, and like it stuck. And I've still been Emerald since then.
Yeah.
So, definitely take the time to do your personal development. That's a huge part. And it's also motivating. It's going to keep you go. If you grow, you're going to go. So definitely do that. Some tips I have as far as some more, I have a 14-year-old, I have a 3-year-old, and I have she'll be 2 months. Right now I have a sitter, so I can get out and actually get some stuff done without them, like, running at me, chasing them and whatever. But what I have to do is I actually have a planner, and this has helped me tremendously. I'm very old school. I don't put things in my phone. I have to have paper planners, and I color code everything. I'm very OCD as well. But I actually set office hours to where I know my days, I'm going to spend from 10 to 12, which is usually during Madeline's morning nap time. These are my office hours. So yes, my 3-year-old, he's 3. He's pretty well entertained. Like, he plays well by himself, or, I'll take a little break and read a book, or, I can kind of set him up with arts or crafts or something. And so I just kind of work it in. But the cool part is I can do that, and I'm home with my kids. I'm not in an office somewhere, drinking stale coffee, dealing with people I don't really care for. I'm fancy today. I got my hair and makeup on for y'all because you're special today. But I got my plexus shirt. I got some good old yoga pants and tennis shoes. I mean, this is my office attire now. And if I have to stay up sometimes when they go to bed because it's a crazy busy day, I'll do that. But just setting aside time, really, that was the biggest thing, was knowing what you want to accomplish that day, and make your list the night before. It's really hard when you get up in the morning because instantly your day will start with distractions, especially being a stay-at-home mom. My little ones I never know. This morning I was so excited. We were going to go run some errands real quick before the sitter got there, and I had my 3-year-old always loves my plexus, my vanilla 96 with the slim mixed in. And so I gave him my shaker bottle, and he wanted to take a drink. Well, he just ended up completely dumping the whole thing, so that was like 20 minutes of my day I hadn't planned. But luckily I already knew what I was going to do today and when I was going to do it. So it's not as stressful for me when things like that happen. But really just, fitting it into the nooks and crannies. The biggest thing, be consistent. Be consistent taking your products. You've got to be a product of the product. I'm sure you guys have heard that a million times, but it's so true. And be consistent with your business. If you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get paid like a hobby. You treat it like a business, you'll get paid like a business. Another thing is, on Facebook, probably the last little tip I'll give you, and then I'll turn it back over to you, Cindy, so you can open it up, is auto posters. And if you have a business page that you use on Facebook, you can actually schedule it from there, which is kind of nice. But there's Buffer, there's Hootsuite, there's Tiny Torch. Hootsuite charges, Buffer and Tiny Torch are free. But you can literally, that's another thing I do, is I sit down, and in 2 hours, I can have a month's worth of posts done. So I'm not, when you get on Facebook, you go into post and you start scrolling, and you keep scrolling, and then 30 minutes later, you're like, oh my gosh, I've been scrolling for 30 minutes. Facebook is a huge time sucker, and you have to be very conscientious of how much time you spend on it. But those auto posters are great because I can go in and I can schedule, a month's worth of testimonies to post to my page, one a day. And then that leaves me free to post lifestyle during the day. Like if Hugh, my 3-year-old, falls asleep on the couch, I can take a picture of him and be like, oh, my coworker is so lazy. It just fun stuff. Or, if I'm out and about, just showing, the freedoms that Plexus has afforded me. Or, the other day I got to go to the grocery store, and I bought everything on my list, and then other stuff for the kids. And I didn't have to worry about, going to the checkout. I didn't have to run a tally in my head and be like, oh my gosh, okay, well, I hope I didn't go over. And if I did, I'll put this and this and this back. And, I don't have that anxiety anymore. And that was huge. I hated that feeling. So being able to do that, and showing a picture like, this is really, there's so much more to this. This is what this can do for you. So those kind of posts are the engagement posts, hey, I'm here at the store. Which one should I get? This one or this one? And post some pictures, just to get engagement. So really scheduling kind of the businessy post, or like a product spotlight post, or whatever it is, using those auto posters are super, super helpful. The cool thing too, if you do like the 7-day challenges, if any of your team's been doing those, Tiny Torch has to where you can post into groups. So we did those, or like the virtual parties, they're an hour long or whatever. Mm-hmm. We had it, so we had 4 leaders contributing, and we'd split it up, and here's your time, and this is your post. And you could sit down on Tuesday and have it all scheduled, and it would go Thursday. Then Thursday, you're just checking in, commenting. You don't have to worry about trying to get that post up there quick enough or any of that, stress. It's just there. You just go in and comment like everybody else. So that's another tip that's really, really helped.
Mm-hmm. What about the one, I really like the one where you can save the post and read it later?
Yes. Tiny Torch does that. And then there's another, what is that one that does that?
Well, I just do it on the Facebook.
Oh, okay.
A little arrow, and then you can have your save.
That's right.
And yeah, because then later you can have them to use for later.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing, is you really only need about 3 months worth of posts, and then you can recycle them. Mm-hmm. I just saw a question pop up about personal page versus business page.
Yes.
That's really personal preference. I do post, I have a business page, but I pretty much only use my personal page. It's, yeah, I'm sure I probably will have to change that at some point in the future, but, I use my personal page at this point. I have all of my personal things are set to, my page is set to private, so only my friends can see, but I change all my Plexus posts to public, so anybody can see my Plexus stuff.
That's a great idea. I love that. I keep forgetting to do that.
Yeah, I just did that the other day. Public. I wouldn't recommend a business page. It's really honestly just more to keep track of at this point. I think when you're just starting, I get it, like Allison Bro, Sarah Marble, all these diamonds that are kind of, like our Plexus leaders. I understand them having business pages. They need to keep that separate because there's so many Plexus people following them. That's just a great outlet for them to have for all these people. But I think really, unless you get to that point or you decide to become, like Sarah really is striving to be a leader in the industry, not just in Plexus, then that would be appropriate. But I really feel like personal pages are fine at this point. I really don't feel, it's a lot of extra work to do a business page.
What do you think about team pages? When do you, what is your...
I think team pages are great for, it's senior Ruby or senior Gold and above, probably, I would say, because when you hit senior Gold, then you have more emerging leaders. And, at Gold, you probably have 1 or 2 that you can really just keep more of a one-on-one basis with. You don't need to reach a big group of people at one time. So I would say usually when you get to senior Gold is about the time you're going to have 3, 4, 5, 6 leaders that you want to keep everybody in the loop. So that's a good way to start the page. I actually have a team page with my upline. She's actually 2 up, but she treats me like a level 1. My level 1, I was just assigned to her, and it was kind of weird, but it's, we have one big page, so it's all her people, even lateral and outside of me. So that's really fun because we have a lot of excitement in that page. But then I have a page, but it's only my level 1 through 3s. And I try to keep it focused on the ones outside my primary leg.
Yes.
So
Those
yeah,
are
so
grow.
yeah, because if people are added to too many team page, I've had people that got overwhelmed and just
Yeah.
like totally were like, ooh, too much, I can't handle it, and walked away.
Yeah. That's how
So I honestly, until you really get a group of your own runners, keep everybody on that big page, because really that's what shows the momentum and the excitement. When you split everybody off onto a smaller page, you don't have as much engagement, and it kind of fizzles sometimes. So yeah,
I
yeah,
was wondering about that because I have a couple of people asking me if they should, and I felt the same way just because I feel like it just makes it more of a family, and it makes it, it pulls people into that, and a lot of people are searching for that and wanting that, and
absolutely.
mhm,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, and I've got some of my teammates who they really identified with somebody that's not even in our leg. They're lateral to us, but they've become great running partners. Like
right,
they are just awesome together. So, being able to have all those extra resources is really great too. I mean, it's just like you said, it's just a bigger family. I've got people that are lateral to me, and I get just as excited to see them as to see my own people, like at events and stuff. So
yes, I know, yeah, and it's kind of fun because I'm in our uplines. Big page, and the dynamics are different, with different people. Like
right.
our big one is more like business type, very structured and stuff. And just because my personality is a little more crazy and fun, we're different. So it's kind of cool to have even the two, because
Right.
the people that are more into that can be there, and then the people that are more fun, not fun. Not that didn't come across.
All the boring people can be in the other group.
No. That's not what I meant at all.
I know. I'm just teasing.
But
Yeah, no, yeah, and I'm a very analytical person. If you guys haven't learned the 4-color personalities,
yes,
huge for talking to people and understanding what motivates them as well, and what to speak to when you're talking to them or presenting the business or the products. Huge. But I am very red, so I am it's kind of like that type A. I like tasks. I like to get stuff done. My OCD like plays very well into that. Cindy, I would consider you very blue. Blue they love to have fun. They want to be where all the action is. They're just the ones that walk in and they're just like, Cindy's here. Yay. It's going to be so much fun that she's here now. That's Cindy. So definitely learn those. Huge help. It's really like the first skill I teach all my new people. The first thing is the color personalities. It helps tremendously, but yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
2 minutes. So if somebody has a really kind of engaging question, feel free to mute really quick and let her answer it in like 1 minute. No, just kidding.
Sure.
Anybody have a quick question? Anybody? I think you did so well, Sam.
I answered all of them. That's awesome.
Answered everybody. The book is called Millionaire by Halftime.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you said you got to Senior Ruby the first 7 months.
7 months.
And so in that time, how much time do you think at that point? I mean, did you just like at the very beginning just hit 2 or 3 really strong leaders that took off under you, or did you work your tail off for 7 months to get that up there? I mean, you said you were kind of lucky, so I'm just trying to.
I did get lucky, and I had one really great runner that got the business, and we ran together. I would say I probably spent an hour a day. And that was reaching out to people. I just went crazy with it. Like I was just messaging people. I was posting on Facebook all the time. I think in my first 2 months, I personally sponsored, I think it was 27 people.
Okay.
Something like that. And I'll tell you what was huge for that. And it sounds so crazy. Okay, so on Facebook, there's like these virtual swap shops, virtual garage sales sites. Huge.
like the buy one or the
Yeah, like buy,
the
sell
buy and
trades
sell.
and all. Yeah, huge for my business. There's a Sapphire. Her name is Lisa Schrock. She actually got to Sapphire. 99% of her people are from those swap shops on Facebook. So I posted on those, and honestly, like, it was so new still at that point too, which it still is. But I mean, it was just I had messages coming in.
What kind of posts do you do? Because I've done a few and I haven't been very successful. But
I'll switch it up. I'll do a testimonial, and then I'll do maybe my business thing, like me in front of my picture of me with my Lexus obviously got me a lot of interest. Or, I'm looking for moms that want to stay home with their kids, like that kind of a testimonial.
So they don't have a problem in those places. They don't have a problem with somebody coming in and not just selling an item, but actually selling their business stuff.
Right.
They don't have a problem with that.
no.
There are some that do, but honestly, like I asked Lisa, I said, well, what about like some have rules? You can only bump it to the top once a week, or, you can only post the products, not your business. And she goes, you know what? The ones that don't like it will kick me out and block me. She goes, there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of groups to be in. And I mean, obviously it hasn't been a problem for her. She's just like, she's very blatant and bold about it. She's like, here is Plexus. You need to do this. And she is not apologetic at all, which is fantastic. But yeah, she just.
How about places like Craigslist?
You can post that you're an ambassador, but you can't. I mean, there's no pricing or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah,
you can. Saying, I'm just looking for somebody that wants to have their home business.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Mm-hmm.
No Amazon, no eBay, obviously, but
yeah, I was shocked in Hawaii talking to all the jewels. I was just blown away by all of them that said that they found their rock stars on those sites, and a lot of them said that's where I found it.
Yeah.
So.
Another way that I found that helps is Cindy, what do you guys say when somebody asks, how do you order Plexus?
When you say?
Mm-hmm. How do you present the 3 ways they can order? Do you do like retail, preferred, ambassador?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have found, and I can
like wholesale store.
Okay. I found what has worked is I changed it.
Okay, good.
I don't know if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. But what I do is there's 3 ways to order. One is a customer, and that has 2 subcategories. You can be either a retail customer and preferred customer. Number 2, you can be a wholesale ambassador. And this is for couples or families wanting to use it. You're going to use more than $100 worth of products a month, but you want the cheapest prices. Number 3 is an ambassador. And this is if you want to get the products cheaper and to be able to make $250, $300 a month. Under promise, over deliver, because we know it's very feasible to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And people always choose the one in the middle. So if you think of cheeseburgers, this is how I look at it. There's a regular cheeseburger, a double cheeseburger, and then one of those big, nasty, huge Carl's Jr., Hardee's, whatever. I don't know. It's disgusting, those big ones, right? So you give somebody the option to pick those. They're going to look at the regular one and be like, it's kind of small. Then they're going to look at the big one and be like, oh, no, that's way too much. People psychologically always choose the one in the middle. So if you make customer the first one, wholesale member the second one, and ambassador the third one, which one are people most likely to choose?
Middle.
Wholesale, right. So I found that has made a huge difference presenting it that way. And it's amazing how many people will accidentally get a business because they get it for the wholesale and they start sharing. I have 2 emeralds underneath me. Lynn is one that accidentally got in the business, and they're emeralds. So it's, some people are like, well, they're not going to really do the business. I'd rather have them as a preferred customer.
That's me.
Sometimes it's easier to have them do wholesale and then just start talking about it as opposed to flipping them from a customer to an ambassador. So just another little tip there.
That came back. That's from Big Al, huh? That's a Big Al thing.
Big Al and Victor Antonio, who is amazing as well. Yes.
Leaders retreat, I remember.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yay, that was great.
Yay, that was fun. Good. I hope you guys got some some value out of it. I don't ever want to waste anybody's time, and I
Oh,
hope I gave you guys some value today.
Can you go over the two customer categories, how you do that?
Absolutely. And I actually have a document, and if you like, I'll put it in that group thread.
yes. Thank you.
But what I did was, people like numbers too. They want to visually see it. So I broke it down, and it says customer, retail. And I use the triplex as an example because that's what most people like to order first.
Yep.
So I say, for retail, you can get it for $139. Or as a preferred customer, you can get it for $125. It comes with the 60-day money-back guarantee. The cool thing with preferred is after your third order, you get 10% off everything from there on out. And there's also no time commitment. So you're not stuck to buying it every month if you decide it's not for you. So that's how I explain the customers. Or you could spend $9 more a month and get the welcome pack triplex, which is $99. And I show them, so that's why I have the customer and the wholesale next to each other. And then the $34.95. So you can spend $125 as a preferred customer the first month, or you can spend $135. Then you're only going to spend $109 after that. So you spend $9 more this month and save $15 every month after that. So just tell me which one works best for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can probably guess which one they pick.
Yeah.
I'll pay $9 more and save $15 every time after that. Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
Love that. Thank you. You are
You're
awesome.
welcome.
And
This was fun.
we
Thank you.
learned a lot, and we're very
Good.
excited that you were able to be on here with us. And I can't wait till people meet you in person.
I know. I love hugs.
I know.
So if you see me, hug me.
Yes.
But tell me who you are too, because
Yes.
my husband might be like, "Why are all these random people hugging you?"
I know. Exactly. Her husband's awesome too.
Oh,
My husband
thanks.
really enjoyed him. They had a lot in common.
Yeah, they had a good time.
Yeah, they did. So, okay, well, we're going to end today, and I just want everybody to go out there and do what, we learned and put it to practice. And I wrote a bunch down. I think it's really wise for all of us to get a little journal that's just for these calls. Call it your Jules for your Jules journal, to just keep track of each call, because I know for me, if I write it down, it sinks in a little more, and then you can go back and look over things too to share with your teams. We want to be duplicatable, all of us, so that's what these are for, to help us to be good leaders and grow. And be sure that you're telling all your team about these calls, because these are very special just for them, for those golds and above. And that's another incentive for them to get to gold. So that's what we're trying to do here also. So
Yay.
thank you again, and have a
You're welcome.
day shopping. I hope you get everything done that you need to get done.
Me too. Thank you.
Okay, and everybody else, I'll see you later. And let's all say bye to Sammy.
Bye, Sammy.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.